What's up, Juventini? Alberto here. This is the AJC. It's June 27th. I've got all your news around Juve, and Nico Schira hits us with exactly what we want to hear, all right? So Moise Kean to Fiorentina is at the final stages, and it should be getting wrapped up very, very soon, all right? Juve was coming in at 15 to 16 million euros with their asking price. Fiorentina wanted it to be around 10 to 12 million euros. The gap is apparently going to be made up through bonuses and or a future sell-on clause percentage, according to Nico Schira, all right? But this is where it gets juicy. It is expected that those funds are immediately going to be put into closing the Thuram move, all right? And Nico Schira says that Juve and Thuram have an agreement already in place on a 4-year contract to 2028 worth 2.2 million a season plus bonuses, all right? So we could be staring down the barrel of Kean out and Thuram in any day now, all right? So brilliant piece of work there from Juve, in my opinion, all right? Rate that move if it goes down. Then you get to another piece of business that is getting wrapped up today, and that is Douglas Luiz. It is Douglas Luiz Day. He is going to undergo his medical today and then sign his contract with Juventus, all right? Another piece of great business there by Juve, in my personal opinion. Now we get to Jadon Sancho. A lot of smoke, a lot of steam over the past 24 hours around him being one of Juve's primary targets, all right? And Juve looking at a loan. So right now it stands as a loan with the potential for an obligation on the back end of this, all right? But Juve is heavily monitoring Jadon Sancho, and he is at the top of their list according to the latest reports over the past 24 hours. Juve and Giuntoli are looking at a way to make this happen, okay? Now, we get to Gati. Yesterday, we heard that if an offer came in that was strong enough, Juve would consider selling Gati. Naturally, the question was asked amongst the fan base, should we keep or sell Gati? I want to hear from all of you, so hit me in the comments section, but I'm going to weigh in with my thoughts, all right? When it comes to selling Gati, the rumored price that could come in is 30 million euros, all right? There is a ton of capital in that move for Juve. For me, this would be hard to say no to, okay? I like Gatti. He's only 26, which isn't old by any means in terms of a defender's point of view because they usually peak around 28, 29. However, selling Gatti would set us up just fine because we could immediately take those funds and finalize a move for Calafiori, who at the age of 22 is already ahead of Gatti and fits and suits our next coach, Thiago Motta, to a T. You still have Facundo Gonzalez, you have Thiago Giallo, you have Rugani, you have Bremer, you have Danilo. We would be more than fine. All right, so for me, it is a yes, and go and get me Calafiori like yesterday. As far as Dean Hoison goes, I didn't mention his name, did I? But we would keep one of our main potential sales with a lot of capital on the backside of it as well in Dean Hoison. And that could be your ticket to also adding Coop Miners. All right, so yes, if that offer came in for Gatti, I would pull that trigger. Then with Hoison, he apparently also has interest coming in from PSG. All right. So again, got to take it with a grain of salt. Let's see what happens. But there are a lot of teams interested in this player. His future does not seem to be with Juventus, even from a personal point of view. Just the vibes that I'm getting and everything, I would move him. And who's the name? Another big piece of capital business that we do not lose in this scenario, Mattia Sule, and he could potentially remain with Juve, helping us out in the attacking phase. It had always looked like we would have to sell him in order to land some of these other targets. But if Gatti sees an offer of 30 million euros, that right there is your ticket to keeping Matías Soulé, and it is reported that Thiago Motta wants to keep Soulé at Juventus, but the only issue the entire time was, could Giuntoli land the targets he wanted to and needs to without selling him? Now we may see a scenario where we could do just that. All right, so that's the latest on that potential scenario that could happen and go down. So Gati, Hoison, and Soulé, everything up in the air. For Federico Chiesa, apparently there are contacts that have happened with Bayern Munich through intermediaries, apparently looking at the financial situation of Bayern potentially bringing him in. Yes, we heard the rumor of Joshua Kimmich being incorporated in this move. Look, as far as, yes, would you make that move? 55% said yes. 45% said no in making that move. For me, if we are going down the road of losing Federico Chiesa, for me, getting Kimmich would be best case scenario. This guy is a baller, super consistent, and could play like 4 positions, each stronger than the next. But the thing there would be his salary would have to change drastically, as he's on almost 20 million gross at Bayern, all right? So that would have to change. But Chiesa and Bayern, there are contacts there through intermediaries. For Juve, Retegui, he is being monitored and closely watched by Giuntoli, and Juve likes the player's profile. The price tag is very high. Barbieri is the only name that could be used as a counterpart according to the latest reports, but that would not bring the price tag down enough, as it is around 40 million euros for Retegui. And Salamakers, as far as that goes, apparently Thiago Motta has asked Juventus to bring in the player. We know he's got a low fee because Milan does not value him. It's 10 to 15 million euros, all right? And apparently Juve tried to strike up a deal using Kean going the opposite direction, but Milan had rejected it, all right? But I think we'll end up better by selling Kean and then bringing in Kefren Thuram. Salamakers at that cheap price. I'm not high on the player, but Thiago Motta is, all right? And it's very cheap. I'm at this point where if Thiago Motta wants somebody, we should bring it in, especially if we can, on a cheap price. But Salamakers does not do a lot for me, but he does make sense for Motta. Jadon Sancho, though, on a loan, giddy up. Let's go. That's the latest news. You guys know the drill. Like the video, all right? Subscribe to the channel. Join our AJC army, but let me know what you think about all the news you just heard here today. I'm back tomorrow, potentially live with some of the team, but if we're not live tomorrow, we'll be live Saturday morning before the Azzurri face Switzerland in their first knockout at Euro 2024, all right? Until next time, fino alla fine, forza Juventus, ciao tutti.